Let's talk now about the Democratic primary. Super Tuesday number 3, March 15th, Hillary Clinton sweeping. Let's take a look at the results. In Florida, defeating Bernie Sanders 2-1. In Illinois, just barely defeating Bernie Sanders, although that was the state that Sanders supporters were hoping he'd be able to pull an upset in. In Missouri, as of right now, 49.6% to 49.4%, Hillary Clinton ahead. A decisive victory in North Carolina and Ohio, somewhere between 55 and 57% support for Hillary Clinton. So, who overperformed and underperformed the polls in Super Tuesday number 3? Hillary Clinton polling up 29 in Florida, won by 31. Very accurate polling. In Illinois, Hillary Clinton polling up 2. Hillary Clinton ended up winning by 2. In Missouri, Hillary Clinton polling 3 points ahead, ahead now by just over a tie, right? 0.2 points ahead. North Carolina, Hillary Clinton did underperform the polls, expected to win by 24, won by 14. And in Ohio, Hillary Clinton overperformed the polls, expected to win by 8 and won by 14. And the real question now is, where are the delegates? Let's take a look first at the numbers with no superdelegates. Hillary Clinton, just under 1,100 delegates to her name. That puts her 46% of the way to securing the nomination. Bernie Sanders, 774, puts him about a third of the way to the nomination. And what about with superdelegates? With superdelegates, Hillary Clinton, 2/3 of the way to securing that nomination. Bernie Sanders, just a few superdelegates currently in his column, 1/3 of the way to the goal. The math is much simpler here than on the Republican side. The dynamics are far simpler than on the Republican side. At some point, Bernie Sanders needs big wins, and they need to be really big. People waiting for the Western states, they're calling it primary number 2. You have the big prize of California. We're also waiting on New Jersey and New York, which are on the East Coast, but later on in this process. Hillary is up. Hillary is up in just about all of these states, although some of the polling isn't the newest. I am not ready to say Bernie Sanders is done. I voted for Bernie Sanders here in the Democratic Massachusetts primary, but the numbers are not looking good for Bernie. This is a reality. And it's crazy because people get mad no matter what I say. If I say it's not looking good for Bernie, look at the numbers, look at the data. People say, David, you're not being fair to Bernie. This is the problem, that you're not really giving him a chance. You're being you're not really considering the Sanders candidacy for what it is. And then if I say, okay, yeah, look, Bernie's still in this thing. He's just got to pull out California and New York and New Jersey and Washington and Oregon, all these states really, really big. Then people get mad and say, David, you're being completely unrealistic. There's no evidence whatsoever that Bernie Sanders is going to do those things. You really can't win right now. The Democratic Party, although ideologically is more or less on the same page on policy, the Democratic Party is very, very split with regards to how we should be looking at this election.
Yeah, and it's I think we're being realistic, right? So our official statement is that things aren't looking that great for Bernie.
Yeah, but a path exists. It's just not reflected in any of the polling data.
Yeah, and so that's what we do. We look at data and we give our opinions on facts. And so whatever, if you think Bernie has a better chance of winning than we do, you can do that. It's just that the evidence doesn't really back it up. And don't get me wrong, we're rooting for Bernie. It would be wonderful. I hope they focus really intently on California and New York, and maybe we'll see some surprises.
FreshBooks is offering David Pakman Show listeners a 30-day free trial of their service. I'm obviously the host of the David Pakman Show, but I also run the business that is the David Pakman Show, and I want to spend as much time as possible on the show and growing and improving my business. So FreshBooks lets you get paid more quickly. It helps with invoicing. It helps with so many of those business administration tools, and it's for freelancers and small businesses who want to get organized on those issues and really focus on growing the business. So to get your 30-day free trial of FreshBooks and support the David Pakman Show, go to gofreshbooks.com/TDPS. That's gofreshbooks.com/TDPS.